1 in 8 Americans is late on a home loan payment or already in foreclosure, so many are turning to companies that offer financial assistance in return for a fee. But can you trust these companies? Because where there is need, there are usually predators. And Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross has gone into action. Brian?
Good morning, Diane. Our investigation found that tens of thousands of Americans having trouble making their house payments are being targeted by boiler room operations that promise to help. In one operation we looked at, called the nation's Housing Modification Center, that help ended up costing homeowners their last dollars.
The voice over the phone makes it seem very official.
The nation's Housing Modification Center is located in Washington, D.C. area and in Southern California.
And their mailings come in a brown envelope with a Capitol Hill address, 611 Pennsylvania Avenue. Chad Nicholas took the bait. Facing foreclosure on his home in the Seattle suburb of Renton, Nicholas sent $1,000 to the nation's Housing Modification Center after they promised their experts could help modify his bank mortgage.
If getting somebody local there in Washington, D.C. is going to help me quicker, then that might be the way to go.
What Nicholas did not know until ABC News told him was that the Washington, D.C. address for the firm is a mailbox at a UPS store on Pennsylvania Avenue, Box 393. The firm's actual location is in this nondescript office building across the country near San Diego. Inside, a classic telemarketing boiler room operation where employees,
Hello, Nation's Housing Modification Center, may I help you?
including Tom Fatica, read from a script tailored for desperate homeowners.
Right now, your government is trying to help you stay in your home and not displace your family.
Fatica was one of the telemarketers at the nation's Housing Modification Center. He says he was fired after he began to ask where were all the lawyers and accountants supposedly hired to help the homeowners. Fatica says there were none.
They're convincing people to give money to them in advance, promising to do something that they're not doing, that they don't even have the resources, capabilities, knowledge, or manpower to do.
The San Diego operation is being run by 3 men well known to law enforcement authorities. Brian Rosenberg and his partner Glenn Rosowski were convicted by federal prosecutors in 2003 of charges connected to a mortgage fraud scheme in Baltimore. Rosenberg also has convictions for theft and drug possession.
They have deceived others in the past involving real estate transactions, and so I would not give them a lot of credibility.
The president of the operation, Mike Trapp, has his own credibility issues. He was convicted of lying to a federal grand jury in connection with the largest Ponzi scheme in San Diego history. Trapp was not happy when J.W. August of our San Diego affiliate 10 News showed up to ask some questions.
Can I ask you what's going on here?
Trapp's operation is one of hundreds of so-called loan modification businesses under investigation by federal authorities.
That's assault.
There are just a lot of malefactors out there that are using this time of economic distress to go after consumers, and they promise them a lifeline, but they give them only an anchor instead.
That was the chairman of the Federal Trade Commission, John Leibowitz, who says there are 4 pieces of advice to avoid being scammed. If they're asking for money in advance, if they claim a 100% success rate, if they say pay them instead of your mortgage, or if they say they're connected to the government, well, forget about it and call the FTC.
And taking advantage of the vulnerable. They're there. Thanks so much, Brian.